Ryan Reynolds is now trying to bully the court to try to put financial pressure on Justin Baldoni. You were the ones who started the lawsuit.
Blake Lively's own legal team suddenly flipped the script and exposed her along with Ryan Reynolds after a major legal scandal they had been trying hard to bury.
Ms. Lively and Mr. Reynolds are now seeking sanctions on the purported ground that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous.
Apparently, client privilege means nothing when your clients throw you under the bus to protect their polished PR image. And honestly, if you treat your lawyer like a disposable napkin, don't be surprised when he becomes the courtroom's sharpest blade.
In fact, it is Mr. Reynolds and Ms. Lively's sanctions motion that are frivolous.
Mike Gottlieb isn't here to play nice, and he's certainly not here to be anyone's legal puppet.
Because you guys are trying to force down a narrative, and we are refusing to accept it.
This time, the problem was that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's team tried to drag him into their mess, asking him to file a sanction against Justin Baldoni. Mike didn't just say no. He exposed the entire circus.
You don't get to just throw your power around and keep demanding that it's frivolous and to go away and blah, blah, blah. You are so out of touch, it's wild.
According to insiders familiar with the filings, Ryan's team wanted their lawyer to ask the court to punish Baldoni for continuing the lawsuit, not because it lacked evidence, but because it was inconvenient. That's what a sanction means in legal terms. Make him pay and shut him up. Here's where it gets shady. If Mike had actually gone through with that request, he could have faced serious legal ethics violations. We're talking potential disbarment or even jail time. Mike made this very clear, telling them straight up that this isn't how the law works.
You guys started this lawsuit. Let's not forget, you were the ones who started the lawsuit, and Justin's proven fairly that a lot of what your wife is saying didn't seem to happen.
Obviously, you can't just weaponize the court system to intimidate someone into silence simply because your reputation is in jeopardy. You can't make up your own rules just because you're Ryan Reynolds and your wife happens to be Blake Lively. That strategy might work on Instagram, but it won't fly in a federal courtroom.
Now, again, demanding sanctions over the frivolous suit, which is a frivolous request.
This is why Mike Gottlieb's name is now echoing throughout the entire scandal. Instead of covering for Blake and Ryan, he exposed what they were trying to do. He told them, if you want someone willing to commit legal suicide to protect your reputation, find another fool. He refused to be that person.
He's drowning the court yet again with more high-profile demands to go away. Ryan Reynolds has had enough of these utterly frivolous. I mean, I feel like I've read this story 4 times already.
Let's discuss what Ryan's team aimed for. They wanted to file monetary sanctions against Baldoni, essentially asking the court to impose hefty financial penalties on him for wasting the court's time.
But Justin's defending himself, so it's different for me. You're constantly out there trying to say, no, leave us.
Here's the kicker. We're still in the discovery phase. That means the court hasn't reviewed all the evidence yet. This phase is when both sides gather information, testimonies, and proof. But Ryan's team wanted to skip all that. No discovery, no facts, just silence. That's not a legal argument. It's a tantrum. And Mike Gottlieb saw right through that from a mile away.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Talk about frivolous.
What Ryan was trying to do, in simple terms, was to financially crush Baldoni before he had a real chance to defend himself. It's a classic rich guy tactic. Drain your opponent's resources until they can't keep fighting. But Mike saw through it, calling it what it truly is, a manipulative power play hiding behind the guise of legal strategy.
The Wayfarer party's complaint contains substantial factual allegations supported by a mountain of evidence. We anticipate that the court will agree. And they will.
Here's what makes it even worse. If Mike knowingly submitted that sanctions request despite it being legally baseless, he could face charges for abuse of process or even obstruction. That's how serious this situation is. The bigger issue is that Ryan Reynolds isn't just battling a lawsuit. He's fighting to secure the final major contract of his career.
Now, you got to understand, Ryan Reynolds has a very lucrative deal through Fox, through everything, that he's in bed with them. They can't afford to cut him loose, but they can have a talk to tell him, Ryan, this is not good.
Behind all the legal drama and PR chaos lies a brutal reality. Ryan has only one major deal left with Disney due to the Fox merger. If he messes this up, it's game over. No more multi-million-dollar Marvel checks. No more Deadpool. No more brand empire. He'll just be a man with a messy public image and a reputation Disney would rather pretend never existed.
But Ryan seems to be so stubborn and aggressively trying to prove the proof is out there, and I don't know what this man is thinking.
Here's the twist. Disney can't remove him. Not directly, at least not yet. His contract is locked in, signed years ago under the Fox umbrella, before the scandal broke out.
Bob Iger himself and Disney have been trying to get Ryan Reynolds to drop this nonsense. Just like Taylor Swift, just like everybody else involved, nobody wants to be involved in this.
Contracts with companies like Disney always include an escape hatch, a sneaky little clause called the morals clause. What does that mean in plain terms? It means if Ryan does anything that damages Disney's image, like getting involved in a legal mess with alleged blackmail, retaliation, and fake narratives, they can cut him loose regardless of how much money is at stake. And guess who's watching him closely right now? Bob Iger himself. Yes, the CEO.
A lot of folks are over this It Ends With Us lawsuit, and they want it to stop. And one of those people I hear now from multiple sources, Bob Iger himself, the CEO of Disney.
Multiple insiders say Bob is straight up furious with Ryan's behavior. Not disappointed, not annoyed, but furious. Because this entire lawsuit is now bleeding into Disney's world.
Nobody wants to be involved in this. And now they've put on a brave face. They have made it clear they're not going to play nice pool with Justin over these Deadpool requests of getting information from the film.
It's tainting the hype for Deadpool 3. Complicating marketing strategies and giving the press more courtroom headlines than box office ones. For a company that depends on squeaky clean billion-dollar brands, this is pure poison.
But it's just as right. This is all absolutely valid. This is not frivolous. He is demanding that they hold on to these documents so that he can do his discovery to figure it out.
So what does back off or burn really mean here? It means Bob Iger has personally sent a message to Ryan. Step out of the spotlight, drop the drama, stay in line, or we'll make sure this is your last Marvel appearance ever.
And meanwhile, Justin's out there feeling the financial weight. Now, to be fair, I'll call this out for what I see it is. To me, I believe this. I'm not trying to deny that he's not suffering, because he is. He is, make it clear. But this also conveniently is showing damages.
They can't pull the rug out just yet without risking legal trouble. But they can isolate him, sideline him, and ensure no new contracts come his way. Think of it as a quiet cancellation. You technically still have a seat at the table, but no one's inviting you to dinner.
Let's keep it a buck. The exclusive people source, they're smartly putting stuff out there to remind everybody Justin's not out there at premieres and launching stuff. He's still suffering, and he is.
And still, Ryan keeps charging forward. Why? Because if he lets go now, if he admits any wrongdoing or even backs down just a little, he loses control of the narrative. Ryan Reynolds isn't just an actor. He's a brand, a walking billboard for sarcasm, charm, and A-list perfection. In his mind, the moment he shows weakness, the media pounces, Disney panics, and he becomes disposable.
And honestly, good on them. Valid. Valid. They are trying to keep him in there, keep the story going, but remind everybody of the stress that he's going through, which is real. And honestly, as you even say, but he's a positive guy. And I do think he'll be okay at the end of this. I really do.
That's why he's not only defending himself, he's trying to completely erase his involvement in the mess. His entire strategy revolves around shifting the spotlight, making Justin Baldoni appear as the aggressor, the one filing baseless lawsuits, while Ryan positions himself as the misunderstood millionaire simply trying to protect his family.
So Brian Freeman did respond. In the latest assault on Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfarer parties, Ms. Lively and Mr. Reynolds are now seeking sanctions on the purported ground that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous.
It's not just about winning in court, it's about protecting the Reynolds brand. If he manages to convince the public and the press that he's the real victim, maybe Disney will back off. Maybe they won't activate that clause. Maybe he'll survive this storm with Deadpool intact.
But anyway, now he's trying to ask the judge to ding Justin's team financially.
But Brian Freeman, he wasn't having it. He saw right through the act. This wasn't just a legal misunderstanding. This was, as Friedman put it, a calculated, coordinated legal assault.
Because, yeah, the Deadpool star on Tuesday hit back against JB and his team with a request for monetary sanctions, which they say is reaction to the preposterous defamation lawsuit that makes a mockery of the legal system.
Ryan's push for sanctions wasn't about justice. It was revenge. He aimed to choke Baldoni financially, to stop discovery before it began, and to bury the lawsuit under red tape and celebrity influence. But Friedman called it out loudly and publicly, and that completely wrecked the entire plan.
And meanwhile, she's out there launching new hair care lines and calling everything frivolous. I don't see him out there doing it's you are a mockery, Blake. This whole thing was a mockery. Your whole inability to accept some bad press shows how thin-skinned you were back in August.
The courts are watching. Disney is watching. The public is watching. And every desperate move Ryan Reynolds makes doesn't scream confidence, it screams panic. Why fight so hard to block evidence if you have nothing to hide? Discovery is where the truth comes out, documents, depositions, facts. Yet Ryan's team is demanding the case be shut down before any of that happens. That's not defense, it's a cover-up. Meanwhile, Blake Lively stays silent, launching hair care lines while Ryan burns millions on legal threats. But silence speaks volumes. If this lawsuit was truly frivolous, why hasn't Taylor Swift, or anyone, publicly backed him? The truth? Ryan's empire is built on a carefully crafted image. If that cracks, subdue his Marvel deals, endorsements, and Disney's patience. And Disney doesn't do damage control, they cut losses. Now the question is, will the courts let a celebrity bully his way out of accountability? Or will justice prevail? You've seen the tactics. You've seen the silence. Now demand the truth. Drop a comment. Should courts let PR games override justice?